Morning, morning, morning. Morning. It is morning. I was thinking about the resource, I guess, of the resource of programming, and the some of the thought process and the head clearing that kind of has to go into it. And I realized that, like, it's one of those things where, like, you can't stare at the computer all day and get everything done. There's a finite amount of brainage that you can do. Oh my goodness, come on. Finite amount of brainage that you're capable of for the day, and you can pretty easily burn yourself out staring at a screen for that time. So it's much like in construction, where it's possible for you to overwork yourself or overexert yourself or do things that unnecessarily stress your body out, tire you out earlier. You can do those things while programming. And that's why I just, like, thinking about it. It's like I spend a lot of time walking around, especially when I'm doing kind of architecture stuff and figuring out, moving things around in my brain, thinking thoughts through. And sitting in front of a computer, typing those things out as I think them is not a useful process. And I've tried it before, and it just kind of slows things down. You have to go for a walk, you have to clear your head, and that's what, I don't know, I've speculated before that becoming a good programmer makes you a bad human in several ways. It's like it does change your brain. I think almost almost literally, like physiologically, it changes your brain. But it also changes your logic processes. It changes how you process logic, how you talk to people, how you make statements. All of these things are affected by you becoming a proper programmer, someone who thinks in blocks of logic and patterns. It's not always helpful, but it's very useful. So the idea that this is something that it changes your brain, it changes the way that you think, because you have to think the way a computer thinks, and you have to reduce problems into computer problems. You have to translate concepts into something that can be processed by a computer, so that you can use the computer to determine the proper outcome, or how, or the best way to process the conditionals. So, for this reason, programmers are kind of never off. It's like there's not a lot of downtime, because it's easy for your brain to just kind of wander onto the problem and start churning over it, and it's uncontrollable, actually, for your brain to solve stuff in the background. You know, you work on a problem for the whole day and don't quite get it, and then you go to sleep at the end of the day and wake up at 2 a.m. and grab a notepad and write down quickly the solution to the problem, because you just figured it out. You know, or you hop in the shower and you're sitting there, and then, oh, there it is, I get it now. It's so obvious. Why didn't I think of this earlier? And those hours are not on the clock, as they say. You're not. I don't know what you're doing. You're like. That's what I'm saying. It's like this is your life. Your life is now this. Now there are things you can do to escape. There are things I have done that I've been like, okay, so if I focus on something else, then my brain will solve problems in the background. And there are definitely some things that I can do that do not contribute at all to downtime. So it has to be a certain kind of downtime. You have to be not occupying the logical, the problem solving part of your brain or something like that. I'm not quite sure what it is, but I was like, I'm getting stuck on this problem. I'm gonna play some Warzone, and then I'll think about it, and then I'll be like, I'll bounce back because I'll figure it out while I'm playing Warzone. And absolutely that, yeah, I tested it a lot. gonna play some Warzone. Hey, this will solve the problem. This did not solve the problem. Warzone was too engaging. It did not solve any problems in the background. There's probably I'm curious what kind of engagement it needs to be, or like how much engagement there needs to be in order for your brain to kind of detach and think about stuff and figure things out and be like, oh, you get little epiphanies, little eureka moments. So it's an interesting thing, and all the time that you spend, well, you kind of have to get your brain out of gear for it. And the way to get your brain out of gear is to put it in a completely different direction. If you're going forward and you're in first gear, second gear, third gear, fourth gear, fifth gear, and then like it's the end of the day and you're like, all right, we're going to dial down a little bit, fourth gear, third gear, you start driving home and you're like, all right, second gear, you get home and you're doing home stuff and you're like, okay, first gear, I guess. I'm trying to focus on, and your wheels are still turning. And then if you do something that's completely engaging, that stops your flywheel, you put it in reverse, grind to a stop, and then throw it in reverse. You're going the opposite direction. No progress is being made in the forward motion. That's one way to do it. But if you're not doing that, like I said, some of that's background process. It just keeps on churning. You get it in the shower, you get it while you're washing dishes, you get it while you're doing any number of things. So if you need to unseat, if you need to change the direction of your brain, if you need to stop that flywheel spinning, you need to do something that engages it in a different direction, something that is a proper break from what you've been doing. Because without that break, you're just, at least me, you're just churning, constantly spinning on that problem. You're not really present wherever you are. Or there's layers between you and what's going on. It's like a queue. I definitely have a queue. Things will be processed in the order received. And if there's a delay between the first two items, then the third one we'll get some laughter after those are finished. Chapstick. need to put this chapstick in an insulated container or something. Ooh, okay, yeah, that's cool. Bother. It is kind of interesting, though. You think about, I mean, from like a production perspective, you're like, all right, so we're gonna make an info product, or we're gonna make a digital product. What do we need? Well, we need to hire coders. We need to get them computers. Okay, that's it. Yeah, that's a oversimplification, but the idea that you don't have the materials cost, really. Yeah. There's no waste. Well, there is waste. Yeah. There definitely can be waste. It's just kind of like, okay, so the coder is the coder is one of the few ways to turn coffee into money. So there's a reason that's all the free energy drinks you can drink. Yeah, this earns money. That's interesting. Like management and maintenance is of software is that's a cost center. That's something that is outgoing money. But code is actually production. So that is a profit center. We're creating product and creating extremely scalable product. 1 hour of work does not equal 10 widgets, which may be sold at whatever profit margin. You can be in a situation where 200 hours of work results in literally years of service. There is management, but that's minimal. And there is scaling, but again, minimal. And these days, very manageable. Code is a very different thing. That's actually probably why there's so many software companies these days. So you're saying I only have to make the product once, and once the product is finished, that I can just sell it forever, and I can make infinite copies of it forever, and I can keep selling it forever? Yeah, mostly forever. I don't know, there's probably still some people tooling about on VisiCalc. I don't think anyone can buy it now, though. Not sure who the original license owners are. That'd be pretty funny. But you know, the potential is definitely there. It's just very different. Synchros need to be tightened up or something.